And good Saturday morning. Welcome to Sports Talk. Another beautiful Saturday morning outside. If you like heat and humidity, it's your kind of weather.
Well,
Mike
I don't
Powell.
like that.
Oh, I know you love it, Mike.
Therefore, it's not beautiful, right?
How was the weather a week ago in Cullowhee Nation?
Say 6 to 8 degrees cooler.
Was it?
Yeah.
Humidity?
No, the humidity was still up.
Was it?
And that's one thing, misconceptions about Cullowhee. I mean, yeah, it's a little cooler, but
Southern Mountains.
Southern Mountains.
Yeah,
And it's not the Blue Ridge. It's the Great Smokies.
Not the higher peaks.
It's a little bit different. Yeah, like Cullowhee's only like 2,500 feet above sea level compared to Boone, which is like 34, 35.
Yeah. Compared to Mount Mitchell, which is 66, whatever. 66.
So,
I got Mount Mitchell's weather on my phone just to dream every day that I wake up there and it's
30. It's 20 degrees.
Yeah.
35.
Well, it's 20 degrees cooler.
Cooler anyway.
Yeah, it's not 20.
Yeah.
But it's a little different. We have all kind of different heights and peaks throughout.
But I think once you climb Old Fort Mountain, get into Asheville, it does. You can feel a little bit difference. 6, 8 degrees.
I'll take it. You know, everybody thinks Boone's not that big a difference either, really. It's usually on average 10 to 12.
Yeah, 10 to 12.
But 10 to 12 when it's 95
makes a difference.
It's worth
it. A big difference.
Big difference.
It is definitely worth it, especially if you get a little less humidity as well to go with it.
Yeah, it's when you cross the Great Divide heading up to Boone that you can notice the difference.
You mean the Great Divide at the hotel there at the Continental Divide, or are you just
Continental Divide?
Continental
Divide.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
What does the Continental Divide do? Anybody know?
I don't know the geological.
I think it's where the rivers flow opposite. The water flows to opposite rivers. Like the Continental Divide. Before you get there, it all flows to the Atlantic, and then once you get there, it flows to the Gulf of Mexico. So, I think I don't even know who. I started to say I'm not a what. I don't even know what to call it. I don't even know who studies that. Studies that kind
geology.
Geology.
Yeah, geologist. Definitely not that.
I was going to say I wasn't a scientist. That was.
But I think that's what the Continental Divide, and you always see it marked for some reason.
Right.
So it is always marked, not just in our mountains, but everywhere that it's marked. Somebody tell me if that is what it is, or if there's another. Maybe it's that plus something else too. I don't know. The snowfall would do the same thing. Somebody come up and say that. Any precipitation.
Somebody once wrote a song about that.
About what? The Continental Divide?
It's, the name of it is "Across the Great Divide" by the band.
Mm-hmm. So Levon.
Did
he write it? Levon Ham.
I don't know if it's either Levon or Ricky Danko or Robbie Robertson, and I don't know.
Mike can wheel them off there.
Yeah,
just throwing names out there like he knows them all. Rodney Willis gives me a thumbs up. I don't know if that means he's agreeing with my definition of Continental Divide, or if he's saying I'm awake already.
Yeah, it could be either one.
Yep. And I think it is the first thought that we had there.
Well, that sign is at Green Park.
That's it. That's exactly. Yeah, maybe it designates Green Park Inn. Just to let you know, this is such a monumental hotel. Yeah. You ever stayed in that hotel?
I've never stayed there.
I hadn't either. I don't even know if I've ever set foot in it.
I haven't either.
I don't know.
I've wanted to.
Yeah.
From afar. Yeah.
Well,
I know when you top it, though, I say, well, I'm almost there.
Do they have a restaurant in there you can just go in and eat? Anybody know the answer to that? Or is it you have to stay there to
yeah, I'm sure surely they have a restaurant. I would think.
Nice looking golf course. As you enter. You ever played that golf course, Lanny?
Nope, never have.
Lanny and Lenny. The golf course at
Green Park.
Green Park. Have you? Yeah, it's a pretty good looking golf course.
Played with
But
the Chamber of Commerce tournament.
Okay. Boone Chamber. Boone has a very nice golf course too, by the way, out on up the road. On up the road. I played Hawk Nest, but I think it was through David Keever. Hanging Rock. We don't want to talk about Hanging Rock. We might want to do that one day if he. that could turn into a verb and not a noun. So How about that, Mike? Using the English lesson already.
You already gave me one today. Gee, that's early.
Mike been off for a week, comes back, and he's got a different voice. I don't know what to think about it, man.
This is my lower octave voice.
Yeah.
You know, like you remember those DJs on,
Wolfman Jack
FM, late night, Now you're into deep tracks.
I do remember that. WROQ used to have WROQ back in the day.
Deep tracks.
What numbers was that 107.9? Was that ROQ or was something else ROQ back in the day?
No, I believe it's the same.
It was the same thing.
95.
95.7.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I believe it was.
It was just WRQ.
Yep.
Rodney said separates the watersheds that drain. He uses the word watersheds.
Watershed.
I always used to wonder what that was when I was little. I thought it was a place, she had to go out and get you some water in, right?
Yeah.
Like Uncle Jed might have. But
no, that's not it.
Let's see, the Pacific Ocean from those river systems that drain into the Atlantic. Very nice to see those comments there coming in from Rodney. Let's see what else I got here. I got a glare on my phone. I know that. That's one thing I got this morning. I just saw another message roll in. Now for some reason I can't get to it. Here we go. Milton saying, good morning this morning. You are correct on the Continental Divide. The western one runs through the Rockies, so it goes through the Rockies on the western end, which I've been to the Rockies one time, and I do hope to get back in this lifetime if given an opportunity.
Have you ever been to the Sierra Nevadas?
Nope. I guess you have, or you just brought it up for the heck of it?
I may go one of these days, actually.
Yeah. WROQ, he says, was 95.1.
Oh.
WROQ back in the day, says Ned.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's...
They had a guy named Calvin on there.
Well, we know Calvin.
Yeah.
WROQ, but didn't John Boy and Billy get there? Did they not get their start, or was that Robert D. Murphy?
Robert
D. Murphy.
Okay,
was,
Murphy.
Was
so WROQ and Big Ways were one and the same, weren't they?
Big Ways.
Yeah, Murphy
weren't
was
they
Big
one
Ways.
and the same though at one time though? You could listen on Big Ways on AM.
Yeah, it might have been like
It seems like to me like they were one and the
same. Well, Murphy
same.
had some of the most viciously satirical, funny skits. He was really on to the Pass the Loot
Club
and all that. He really did some great stuff.
Brother Bill Taker.
Butch says that is actually the Blowing Rock Country Club at Green Park, private and pricey.
Ooh.
Well, I figured it was pricey because in Blowing Rock, there's nothing in Blowing Rock that's not pricey. My question is, though, is there a restaurant inside that facility that you can just go in and eat without being a guest at the hotel?
A member or a guest?
I know there's a restaurant across the street that has had many different names. It might have been Canyons at one time, and different things.
I mean, it looked like it was going off the mountain, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and I have been there. I think I've been there with you, Mike Pell, at one time, and maybe Rick Mitchum was along with us too before his marriage, but that's many moons ago, right?
We wish him well in his marriage, actually.
If only Johnny were here. If we only had Johnny to hear, so I could hear his comments when I say that. We miss old Johnny.
We do indeed.
It's been over a year now since we lost Jonathan Schrantz, the sumo. May 29th. About that. Tells you how fast, just gives you an idea how fast times go by. We're going to get into sports, but one thing caught my eye this morning. I told Lanny about this, and I think Mike was here already. Today is National Mustard Day. It's National
There's
something day.
Every day.
Every day.
Is.
Every day. And but mustard has to be a good one, What all do you eat mustard on?
Oh, it's such an infinite variety of things.
Infinite variety of things. I think just hear this.
National mustard.
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
Bologna.
Well, burgers. If
always on a burger.
You got to have burgers. The first two you named, I don't touch.
I mean, the all-American
hot dogs
burgers.
or the bologna.
At what age did you quit putting mustard on a hamburger or a hot dog? Don't tell me you still do.
I don't.
Ketchup. No ketchup.
I'm strictly...
I quit hot dogs many years ago. No ketchup on hot dogs. I didn't quit hamburgers though till way more recent. But mustard goes on both.
I quit hot dogs. So
you did quit hot dogs.
Period.
Oh, you quit eating?
Yeah. I don't.
Yep.
Well,
We don't keep don't keep them in business at our house. No,
Okay.
none of us are.
I have to admit, during the American Legion season this year, I ate more than I've ever eaten in my life.
He did. Hot dogs or everything.
Hot dogs.
Yeah.
And they were good. And they were pretty good.
Oh yeah. Yep. You ever had a Nathan's hot dog?
I have not.
Oh yeah. Good stuff.
Oh, they-
Really good stuff. Yeah. Let's see. Ned says that Murphy in the Morning was on WAYS and WROQ, same ownership. John Boy and Billy first on 107.9, went away a few years back to WRFX 99.7. Of course, that is known today as the Fox. So, and I'm guessing, honestly, I'll be quite honest with you. I don't flip around that much. I'm not even in the car that much right now in the mornings, and when school starts back, I will, but I'll only be in there for 10 minutes.
10 minutes driving down to Lincoln High School.
Question is, John Boy and Billy still on, aren't they?
I think they are. You were talking about when I went to school, that was a 30, 40-minute drive to East Gatton. I listened to them every morning, but I've kind of lost contact with them
It's
now.
different. It's different when you don't drive in the mornings.
What's the man and woman team? They've been on for years.
Bob and Sherry.
Bob and
Bob
Sherry.
and Sherry. Are they still on?
I was trying to think of her last name the other day. Bob Lacey and Sherry
Yeah.
something.
I don't know.
'Cause she's on a
I see her in
commercial
some
now.
commercials.
Yeah,
like
she's on a
Depends.
commercial.
Like the Pins-like product. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Mike's checking that out.
Well, as you advance in age, you got to check out these products. You know?
Oh, got to see what they're like.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice a few nights ago? And I know people are probably ready for us to get into sports because this is sports
No,
talk.
'cause they would
believe it or
rather
not.
hear us just go on and on and on about anything.
We're going from the Continental Divide to morning old radio to
Old
Depends already. We have covered a lot of ground. But I noticed on my TV Thursday night there was football on.
There was.
Catch that? There was football on. I bet Rodney Willis knows there was football on. The Raiders and the Jags. And already, it didn't take but one play into preseason to see a horrible flag thrown on a play. Did you guys see it?
I did not.
The rookie out of Georgia, the first pick taken, that plays for the Jags, defensive lineman. Trevor, is that right? Somebody will have to help me with his name. But he actually, the only thing I could figure out was he did breathe on the quarterback, Derek Carr. But it was Carr was going to the ground and he barely brushed him. They got to change that rule. I heard a lot of talk about it, sports talk about it yesterday. They need to change that rule about roughing the passer. And one way I heard it was, don't it need to be a little bit more roughing before you throw a 15-yard flag on somebody? I mean, lighten up a little bit. Sometimes it's just the way your momentum carries you, and you might brush against the guy. And that's, we don't need to stop that. If we stop that, we might as well stop football.
Was that part of the Hall of Fame? Was that the Hall of Fame game the other night?
Yep. It's the only game been played so far.
It used to be on Saturdays normally. That's the reason.
Yeah, well, I remember that too. And it used to also, people say, well, it's awful early for that. Well, it used to be in July.
Yeah.
It used to be played in late July, toward the end of July. But
are you talking about Trayvon Walker?
Yes, Trayvon Walker.
Right.
There you go. And he looked good too. I mean, he looks like a very good choice for a first-round pick. I'm gonna try to find some of these numbers in a little bit. I was amazed. I heard a little bit of Dan Patrick earlier in the week, and they were talking about, it might have been yesterday, they were talking about the Jaguars and what they win last year, 3 or 4 games? Because I was surprised to hear that they won 3 or 4.
3, I believe, but I'm not absolutely.
In a completely dysfunctional environment.
Yeah. Who was I listening to? I might have been on Dan. They had somebody interviewed, and they said the worst coach in the history of the NFL, Urban Meyer. That's the way he was described as a coach. One and done, a 1 year and done stint for Urban with.
Well, now he had an even worse pro stint.
About a half and done, wasn't it? Half a season.
Yeah.
I mean, he even topped
it was
the ball coach. I mean, how long did he last in Washington? Couple seasons.
Did he last a couple of years? I know he was there a whole year, but I don't know if it's 2 or
he ran a little bit better organization.
Yeah.
Right.
Not that that's a better organization. That's not what I'm saying. But it seemed like he was a little more organized with his team in football than what Urban was with the Jags. But they look more like a football team. A couple. I know they got I don't even remember what the final score was, but it's preseason. It really doesn't matter. But they did look more functional, more like a football team. And they're going to win some games. And what I was going to say is I wanted to look at a little bit some of these odds that are coming up for the season on the over and unders on wins on some of these teams and see.
Which team has the longest odds to win the Super Bowl? I've seen some of those numbers so far.
You already know the answer?
I know.
Don't be asking me a question you don't know that.
I do not know the answer.
The one you said it had to be right there near the top. Probably.
Jags would have to be close to the top. No, Lanny, hang on a minute. Let us think a minute. I haven't looked, so
I don't know. I'm guessing.
Oh, well, so are we. So I'll have to look in a little bit. Let's wait till I pull it up, and then we'll all guess. But don't look it up.
No, I do
don't
not
look
know
it up.
the answer.
I mean, like Lenny said, the first thought comes to your head is Jacksonville.
Sure, because they won 2 last year.
Well, I asked you that already too, and I told you it was more than I thought. I think they either won 3 or 4, which is still not good in a 17-game season.
3 somewhere, but I'm not positive.
But just to give you a couple.
Atlanta and Houston are 2 teams that are completely rebuilding from scratch.
Yeah, Atlanta's got Mariota at quarterback. That's not going to equal many wins.
He hasn't started since 2019.
And I can't even tell you who Houston's got at quarterback, except he's got that the name that nobody can get right because it's so close to somebody else's name that's either in show business or something. I can't even remember.
Let's bring back Dan Pasternak. Could he play quarterback for them? Remember him?
I remember Dan Pastorini.
That's what I'm thinking about. Was he in Houston?
Yeah, Oilers.
He was, yes.
Yep, Oilers.
He sure was.
Now I'm trying to think where he played his college football because I can see Dan Pastorini playing his college ball at
Resurrect Bum Phillips. Bring it all back.
Well,
Earl Campbell.
Bum is gone, but Wade is still. Yeah. Wade is still there with us. Just glancing at some of these teams, it won't be anybody from the AFC West that finishes with the worst record this season, I wouldn't think, except they're going to be beating up on each other. Don't know about Seattle. Seattle's down somewhat. The Falcons that you mentioned are down somewhat. I really don't know what to expect out of the Carolina Panthers at this point, but I don't think they'll have the worst record in football. I think they're a long way from that. It could be Houston. It could be Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I don't think it's anybody from the AFC North, and I can't believe I'm saying this, except for Pittsburgh, because we don't know what they're going to get.
Don't know what they'll have.
Been a very, very, very consistent organization over the last 50 years. But I tell you right now, they are beginning anew with not knowing.
What's Tomlinson's record? Never had a losing season.
Never had a losing season. Had an 8-8.
I mean, that's consistency.
Yeah.
I mean,
NFL. And believe it or not, it's not going to be anybody in the AFC East. Buffalo is very good. Miami is, Miami won 9 last year. A lot of people forget that 9-8. New England
and have added.
New England may be the worst team in the division now, but they're not going to have the worst record.
Nope.
In football. Right. And I don't think anybody in NFC East will either at this point. I think Dallas, Philadelphia, they're going to finish near the top. The Giants and Washington. Don't sure they'll be very good, but they're not going to have the worst record. Mm-hmm. So just at a glance, I'm going with Houston. And I can't, like I said, the quarterback's name. If somebody knows that quarterback's name, I'm trying to think of.
I can't either.
That tells you something right there. If you can't name an NFL quarterback on a squad.
Yeah, whoever he is, he started some games last year, but I can't think of his name.
Yeah. If you can't think of an NFL quarterback, then they've got issues.
Right.
I'll put it that way. They must have some issues, but we'll get into that a little bit. Hopefully, I can find some of that information on the. I think maybe it was DraftKings that had that out there already. They're on top of stuff when it comes to betting on different things, and see what you guys think. Here's the deal. You go and you look at these things, and when it's all said and done, you think, well, that don't add up. It's too many wins and not enough losses. Because guess what? For every win, there's a loss. Right. Okay, but it doesn't matter when you're in betting. All they got to do is put that number out there. It don't matter if it all adds up at the end of the year with 256 wins and 256 losses or whatever the number it may be. It's more than that now because they've added an extra week. But all they care about is, are the Jags going to win more than 6 or less than 6? That's all that matters when you know, whatever that number is. I'm just making that one up right now. There you go, Mike. If it was 6 for the Jags, would you say they? And none of them are ever an even number. They're all 5.5 or 6.5.
Right.
They do 6.5. So in a way, there they give you a break because there's no ties.
Right.
You know. So if I asked you about the Jags, either one of you, would you say they win more than 6 or less than? Or I'll give you 5.5. 5.5's the line, more or less.
Let's say under.
I say under too.
So 5 and 12 at best.
5 and 12 is mine.
And I can't recall right off the top of my head who the new head coach is either that took over. But I'll tell you what, though.
I'll tell you who it is.
He's going to be a Saint, because not a New Orleans Saint. He's going to be a Saint, though, because they're so glad to be rid of Urban Meyer.
Who's the coach that took the Eagles to the?
That's it, Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson.
That's who it is.
That's it. I remember seeing him on the sideline.
He's got good credibility.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
We know that he can. Well, he won the Super Bowl, so.
Well, I would have never guessed Dan Pastorini's college without looking it up.
Santa Clara.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Somewhere that
Well, I say never. It would have took me 30 minutes just to go
running through my head
to go through all the schools, but Santa Clara. Now, that is not where. No, I know already the answer to this one. I was thinking about the new combination for the Raiders, you know, in Devontae Adams. So I don't even think I saw on the field the other night. And Derek Carr, they were a combo in college, but it wasn't at Santa Clara. It was at
Fresno?
Yep, Fresno State, which is pretty good that they've already got a chemistry together before they, you know, and their numbers were good too when they played together.
Yeah, only place I did see a little bit, they was interviewing both of them sometime when I was flipping through the channels.
Yeah, what I think about Pastorini was the great Houston Oilers uniforms back in the day.
I love those uniforms.
And the rivalry with the Steelers, because
all of a sudden they had the little oil wells on the side or the helmets.
On the helmets too.
Yeah.
But they had a good rivalry with the Steelers, but they just could never beat the Steelers in big games.
Right.
Of course, the Steelers were loaded. I mean, you know, the team they had what, 15 Hall of Famers on it?
Yeah.
Some kind of weird number like that. Astronomical.
Coached by
Chuck
Noll. Yep. Used to be the two Chucks that were good coaches in the NFL, Noll and Knox.
That's right.
And he took a lot of knocks before they were good.
Oh, yeah.
No, because he was.
Well, they were the worst team in football.
The Rooney family stuck with him till it got right.
Yeah.
They don't fire coaches.
They do not fire coaches.
We found that out. They do not fire coaches. And it's worked out for them well.
Exactly.
You know. But, I remember some of those games and watching, but they just could never get over the hump. But Pittsburgh obviously loaded with all that talent, but then you had Pastorini, Earl Campbell. That's about as far as I'm going. Maybe Kenny Houston. Kenny Houston might have played in the secondary.
White Shoes Johnson.
Billy White Shoes Johnson.
White Shoes, and I think that's only remember him as the nickname.
Yeah.
But
kick returner, not returner.
Yeah.
Par excellence.
If there's any organization that has moved and changed their name and just left me non-interested, it's the Oilers, because I've just not been able to pull for a team for the Titans.
And what?
And
it's been a long time. I wonder why they drew.
Why didn't the Oilers go back with their name whenever they, why'd they go to Texans, which used to be associated with Dallas years ago.
That's right.
The Dallas Texans before the Cowboys were ever formed. I just wonder why did they do that? Why did they go back and not use the Oilers? Did they not want anything at all? I love what the Browns did. They said, you can take our team, but you're not going to take our colors. You're not going to take our records. Of course, somebody should have took their colors, but they said that's not going to happen, and they kept everything. So I just wonder why the Oilers and new ownership. We know where it's from. It's from Rutherford County, believe it or not. So they decided they're going a different route, and they decided to go with the Texans instead of the Oilers. Now all we got's the Edmonton Oilers, right?
Yep, that's it.
In the National Hockey League. Butch says Sam Mills will be enshrined today at noon in the Hall of Fame ceremony. So congratulations on entering the Hall of Fame.
Posthumously, of course.
And I haven't even. I'm gonna be honest. I've not even seen the full list that I recall.
I have not either.
Of the people that are going into the Hall of Fame today. It's so weird. It's a week apart from baseball.
Yeah.
You ever notice that?
No.
I mean, we just had baseball. And, of course, the big draw there, at least for me and Lenny, was Big Papi.
Big Papi.
Going in. But, football, I haven't heard.
I had even forgot about I saw something about meals on one of the local TV stations just the other night. And I thought, okay.
Yep. And got a statue in Charlotte, right?
Right. Correct.
Which is well deserved, and they definitely lost him way too early.
Oh yeah.
Just a few headlines before we take our first break and get into Major League Baseball. Talk about it a little bit. The races, who's hot, who's not. Demarius Thomas died of a seizure disorder complications. I don't know if you guys saw that news yesterday.
I did not.
What's it been since we lost him? 3 months or so.
Something like that.
And now they finally complete the investigation and a seizure disorder. That's very sad. Very sad to lose somebody. Was he 35 yet? I'll wake Mike up.
Yeah, I'm up.
Are you?
Yeah, he was mid-30s. So.
Mid-30s. Okay.
Way too early.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Shanahan upset with the brawls in 49er practice. Well, that's what happens when you hit each other for weeks at a time and don't get to hit anybody else. Soon they'll be in. This week they may even do some scrimmages with other teams.
Right.
That's the way and then and I'm sure they'll have a full slate of games coming up next weekend for preseason football. Tigers Cabrera vows a 23 return. I'm not quitting, so that's good to see.
And I had heard that he was in debate, but
he's one of my favorites.
His contract runs through 23, and that was.
Rodney says the Raiders' Cliff Branch is going in. Into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Oh, no doubt about it. Yep, he was the first, in my opinion, what I always thought. Okay, let's put it the way I remember. One of the first big-time deep threats.
Right.
And the Raiders loved to throw it deep back in those days. But he was a threat that always got behind the secondary somehow and hauled in big catches that led to big wins for the Raiders. Let's see. Tatis to begin rehab assignment this weekend. He has not set foot on a major league field all season, right? Fernando Tatis Jr., the Padres, they just keep loading up and loading up. It's going to be like adding a new player for them when he gets back on the field. And what do you think about their moves so far? Soto.
Well, they're going for it.
Soto.
They're and
added a few others like
Hader.
Yeah.
And
relief pitcher, right?
Right from. That's the one that was the strange move. I don't know what's going on. Why is Milwaukee
selling
unload the best closer in the game right now is what they're saying. I know somebody said there had to be another story behind it, but
well, the first thing you always think about, number one, are you in the race? And they are.
They are.
Number two, is his contract end at the end of this year?
Does it run out? It does not. It's at least another year.
Then there's something going on.
So that's
There's friction there.
Yeah, it's another year.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, you definitely won't do that. You could ride him through the rest of this season, and then next year, if it didn't go as well, you could trade him before the deadline. I don't know. That is.
And obviously, the Padres are going for broke to win that division or wild card.
The Browns stick to the quarterback plan with Watson, even though Watson is in limbo. We don't know how many games it's going to wind up being. I got a feeling it'll be at least the 6, if not more.
Well, it's already 6.
It's 6, yes.
With the NFL appealing.
And the NFL's appealing.
I say a season at least.
Could be.
What do you guys think?
If it does, then do they have to go after a quarterback?
I would
for a year, and will that be Garoppolo?
I would be like you, Mike. I think it's at least a season because, why are they even fighting it? If it's 6 is a third of the season, so if you're going to even go to fight over it, then
if this arbitrator comes back and says, I've done all the research, 6 sounds good, do they go to another source or do they leave it alone? Do they say, okay, that's it?
Well, they picked an objective, independent judge for this one,
right?
And she came up.
There's nowhere else to turn, right? I wouldn't think.
No.
I don't. But I do think the NFL's not happy with 6.
Right.
Packers had a player get injured last night in family night. The practice where the Green Bay has family night, it says Savage, and I do know him. I just can't think of his first name. I'm pretty sure he's a
what happened?
defensive
Did a fan tackle?
I don't think so. I doubt the fans get to participate in practice, but who knows?
They just ate the barbecue and the hot dog.
The brats.
Yeah, the brats in Wisconsin. Yeah.
And Velasquez, I don't know anything about this one. You guys may know, may not. Velasquez pleads not guilty to attempted murder. So I don't even know where that one came out of, as they say, left field for me. But, a few headlines there. Of course, Major League Baseball last night in full swing. The Braves and the Mets are playing a 5-game
doubleheader today.
Doubleheader today, and they've split the first 2. So that's a good series. It's very playoff-like. If you've watched any of it, I watched some. I have watched some of that, and it's a very
they were talking about
playoff-like atmosphere.
Feel like Atlanta need to win last night because the next 3, 2 of the next 3 are going to be DeGrom and Scherzer coming from.
It's always nice to have that in. Now wait a minute. I heard are they not going to miss one of those pitchers? I don't see how you can miss one in a 5-game series, but one is a doubleheader, so they might have called up
and that may be, and you would think maybe DeGrom. You don't want to push him.
It might be DeGrom. I thought I heard the Braves announcers saying we're lucky that we'll miss so and so.
That's probably what it is, because that's normally what they do in a doubleheader
series. Yeah. All right, we're going to take a timeout. We appreciate you tuning in to Sports Talk this morning. Back here with more in a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Lenny on guitar this morning. Got a rocking. Mike Powell on the drums.
Oh, I'm on drums now. Okay.
Just today.
I'm doing my Led Zeppelin, John Bonham.
That's got the sound, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it does. That music got a little bit of the Led Zeppelin.
You were talking the music right when I was running in here late. The last song I heard was "Hell's Bells," and I kept looking. I kept looking for the bullpen door to swing open and Trevor Hoffman to come tear it out of it when I was thinking about the Padres. But
yeah,
that's I don't know what the best walk-up music is ever, but that's a good one. And Sandman's always been a good one as well. But
sure,
yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know what I would choose if it was me getting that recognition and I was either coming up to bat or coming in from the bullpen. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Now Mike, he would probably have some Paul Anka. Something soft.
I doubt that.
I don't know where I come up with that one. That name.
Paul Anka. Put goes your head on my shoulders.
See, Mike can name the songs. Major League Baseball last night. We talked about it a little bit. First, let me throw this out there at you. While we're getting into baseball, because a couple people have asked me the question that's going on. We got the 8-team regional going on all over the United States. Yeah, Mike asked me why South Carolina had 2 teams in it, and I said, well, here's number one. You got 64 spots because you got 8 times 8. Mm-hmm. 8 teams and 8 regionals. There's only 50 states and Puerto Rico. So that leaves 13. And they kind of rotate those around. North Carolina always gets 2 right now because Asheboro is a host. So we're going to get a host and a state champ. South Carolina this year got 2 teams. It was their turn, so they got 2 teams. And Camden and Rock Hill were their representatives. We're down to 4 now, and you got 2 South Carolinas and 2 North Carolinas.
Oh, no.
That's all that's left. And Wilmington will play an elimination game today against Randolph.
I seen that.
Yeah, Randolph.
Randolph County. Yeah.
Early in the day. I say early in the day, probably 4 o'clock. That's earlier than 7 though. And then the nightcap will be that extra game that they always throw in there. That team that game that the team that comes through the winners bracket unscathed still has to play in that extra game. And that's people say, why do they do that? I like it. I feel bad for the team that's got to play the extra game, but it keeps you from sitting on your pitching. And you say, well, the game don't mean nothing. Here's what it means. You're already in the championship if you are Camden, South Carolina, because you're 3-0. So you're already in the championship. But if you lose that game, that means whoever you play only has to beat you 1 time.
Right.
So otherwise, if you win that game today, then you've got to be beaten twice tomorrow,
which is very hard,
by the Wilmington and Randolph winner.
Now, David, you pointed out something to me, the discrepancy. Okay, in the state American Legion tournament, it's a double limb, am I right?
I didn't know what it was going to be till I started paying attention to it and watching it online. I did not know.
Whereas in our state tournament, it's pool play.
It is. I was told by Area 4 Commissioner Jerry Hudson, state tournament in North Carolina is set up to be double elimination. The host can change it to the other format and go with pool play if they like, and they're never really Okay. Tell me the two biggest differences in playing pool play and double elimination.
Well,
tell me the positives.
Lose only one. You can end up with a 2-1 record in pool play.
And be out.
And
go home.
And go home.
And I'll tell you this.
You didn't lose 2 games. You only lost 1 game.
I'll tell you this. Coach Reynolds never whined about that, never a negative, because he knew the rules going in.
Yeah.
And I talked to him.
As a matter of fact, he's always advocated pool play.
And I was getting ready to say, I even asked him down there, had dinner with him one night, and I even asked him, I said, do you prefer pool play? And this was after they had
lost. Was that before they lost?
I can't remember what day it was.
Was that
second
before
day
they lost
against Fuquay? Was it the second day?
It was actually the day they beat Randolph.
Okay.
It was
third
actually
day.
the day they beat Randolph. Wasn't that a day game?
Yes.
Yeah. It was the day they beat Randolph, and he said, I could tell he does like pool play better. You're guaranteed 3 games. That's the biggest positive. You travel a long way, you're guaranteed 3 games. But now I will say this.
Okay, but
I will say this. It's rare when a 2-1 gets sent home, but it does happen. Okay, but the guarantee for 3 games now is almost not good, because Hope Mills really didn't play like they cared. When Cherryville won in the afternoon against Randolph, Hope Mills was then eliminated. They couldn't finish in a tie with the rest of the group. So once they were eliminated, I just felt like they really didn't put forth the effort. I'm not saying they sandbagged or whatever you want to tanked.
They probably tanked.
But you can't blame them. I mean, they're out of it. Who wants to play a game when you're out of it?
How important is the ability to play 3 games? I know some teams are traveling, but I just feel like if you I still like double elimination.
The biggest difference to me
what's the difference between a 10-3 score and a 3-2? It's baseball.
The biggest difference to me is, number one, if you play double elimination, the scores don't matter. If you get beat 30-0, it's the same as 1-0, because it only goes down as a loss. So scores don't matter in double M, and I like that the scores don't matter.
Right.
The other thing is, you don't have to sit around for 12 hours to see if you need to go on home or not.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what Cherryville ran into. They actually stayed an extra night. They could have got in the vehicle. Of course, they went 2-1. They didn't. If they had lost the game, though, if you lose and it's double elimination, to go ahead and get in your car and go home, because you're done. You don't have to wait and see what happens in another game, which was actually 2 games later on that particular day for Cherryville. They just had to stay and wonder.
That is a negative part of it.
Yep. Yeah. That to me is one reason that maybe they should look at doing double elimination permanent, and just do away with the pool play, so you don't have to wait. This regional that's going on right now, those teams they traveled further than the state teams did, and it's double elimination. They're only playing 2. And unfortunately, Mike, the state of Florida, the state of Georgia, the state of Kentucky, and the state of Tennessee are out. Yeah. It's 2 South Carolinas and 2 North Carolinas are all that are left.
Teams played 2 games and went home.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think maybe somebody won one. I think the Florida team won a game. I think they beat Wilmington.
Florida beat Wilmington game 1. Yeah, because you sent me a text.
Mm-hmm.
But then they lost the next 2 days. Obviously, it looks like the best Legion baseball in the Southeast this year came out of, we know it's these 2 states, but I think South Carolina. Yeah. Now they may prove me wrong and not win the championship.
Well, you've
but they are sitting pretty right now, and they're state champ.
And what I saw Florence and Cherryville a month ago, I thought this crowd will be.
They'll be there,
and they were. I think Rock Hill or Can one of them beat them. Mm-hmm. They were the 3rd spoke in that 3-wheel tire of the South Carolina, but I didn't know how it turned out till I looked at the brackets in the Southeast.
But I do think that your state champions are both in the losers bracket, and it's a South Carolina runner-up, Camden, that is the only undefeated team, left. And, I give credit to Randolph. Randolph is they hanging in there. I mean, they got down last night. They were down 7 twice in that game last night. They cut it to 10-7 at one time, but then 2 runs in the 7th inning for help me with who they were playing last night. Randolph.
Randolph played. Was it
Camden?
Camden, wasn't it?
Yeah,
because that was the only one that had lost.
And
those are 2 winners.
They held their own. They got to within 10-7, but then Camden scored 2 insurance runs in the top of the 7th and held on. I think I want to say in the bottom half of the 7th that Ashboro or Randolph County, I should say, they loaded the. They either had 2 on with 1 out or loaded the bases with 1 out. It looked like they were going to have a shot, and there was a line drive to third, and they've doubled off the guy at second, and it was over. Just ended in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And it was a line shot as well. Okay, this is good. This is good right here, Ned, as well. It's the 2nd straight year. Do you guys have short memories? It's the 2nd straight year Cherville has been eliminated from state tournament with 1 loss.
One loss. I know it is because I remember 2020
3-1 last year.
3-1.
3-1. They went 3-0 in pool play.
3-0 in the pool
but
play
then they lost the first game. Lost the first game in a single elimination 4-team bracket. When you get that far, So, yeah,
that just leaves you with a little empty.
They've gone 5-2 in 2 state tournaments and didn't make the championship in either.
That just leaves you with a little bit of a.
Yep, that's why I bring back double elimination. And I did talk to one guy.
7-4 and 3.
One guy's
2-2 that first year.
One guy's pretty high up. Said he's gonna try and get it to where it just locked in. It's permanent, and you don't have to worry about anybody changing it or anything to double a limb. But here's the thing. Next step. Am I not right in saying the World Series is going to be pool play?
Is it not been? Is that no? It's been pool play.
It's been pool
It
play.
has.
That's
been.
what I mean.
Yeah.
It's always pool play. So that's the biggest the biggest tournament we have in the nation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be pool play.
Because it comes down on the last 2 days. It's at, one you play to get into those last 2 days, and it's one double single elimination.
The good thing is the tiebreaker is runs allowed. The number 1 tiebreaker is run allowed. So it don't encourage you to. In a way, it don't encourage you to run up the score, but then in a way, it does.
Yeah.
Because if you're playing somebody you might be tied with, why not make them give up 15 runs?
Well,
take extra bases.
Well, and
when you shouldn't.
In Cherville's game against Randolph County, they got the quick 6-0 lead, but they had chances to
really
push that out to double digits and put pressure on Randolph. With their
they could have eliminated
allowed.
Randolph with
Randolph.
I know it would have took a lot, but maybe a 13 or 14 run.
13 or 14 runs.
And then you always got to wonder, Randolph says we don't really need to win this game.
I know.
We just need to keep the run total, and you wonder later on if they would have. You don't.
Well,
really,
they didn't start.
You don't really know who they run out there to pitch.
They did not start their best pitcher available. But what's weird about it, he came in later.
Yeah, nothing concern there. That
I think it's a shortstop. That was their number 3 guy during the year, but he did not start that game. But then he came in later, so you've wasted him.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess the guy thought the whole time, should have started him. There might have been ahead right now. You never know. It's just and you know what? Most of those moves, halftime you're right, and halftime you're not.
It's just
on your pitching.
Well,
it's a chess match.
Didn't Cherville leave the bases loaded a couple times in the first 3 or 4 innings?
They left 9 on through the first 4 innings.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. And I believe they left the bases loaded maybe that inning when they scored.
That could have been
4 the first inning. Would it 4 they scored? And they left
Yes.
people on. I don't know if it was full or 2 bases.
I left my book at the house so I could look it up and tell you exactly how many. But
they could have had an easy double-digit lead in that game.
Ned says, believe me, fans are really fussing on the team Facebook page about pool play. Well, I mean, I understand their frustration, but you know what? I mean,
that's what they agree.
There could be a team that goes 3-1 or even 4-1 and don't win the World Series. You go 4-1 and not win the World Series. You realize that, right?
True. Yeah. 3-0 in your pool
and win your semi game. Yeah. And I bet it's happened. I bet we can look, and I bet that's happened. And there is a chance that the team could lose 2 and win the World Series. Because you can go 1-2 and 3 teams 1-2 and another one 0-3. Or 3-0, that'd be 3-0. So the 3-0 gets in, and then the 1-2, one of them get in by tiebreaker, and then you win out, and you've got 2 losses, and you win the championship.
I don't like it. I mean,
well, somebody told me this and said, and I think it was Coach Reynolds when we were sitting there talking. He said, "Don't forget, pool play was very good to us.
It was
in Gallatin, Tennessee.
Oh yeah,
and I think he was telling me that they went 1-2, but the pool play got them in, and they went to Vegas and finished second in the nation. You know,
it did. And it did work out that year.
Yeah, that might have been one of those situations where
and people don't,
you forget the good.
We're the me society right now. What happens right now? They forget.
You forget the good and you think about the bad, and it's just you don't. And that's easy. It's like they say, all coaches, they remember the losses, they don't remember the wins.
I think what people have said about it has happened 2 years in a row for post 100, right? 3-1, then 2-1.
You know, this year probably hurt a little worse because last year, once you get to those Final Four, it's one game and done. And I don't remember the score in that game, but weren't they beaten kind of soundly?
They were.
In that semifinal game last year by a better team.
By
Wilmington.
Yeah.
And then Fuquay beat whoever they beat. And Fuquay
they beat Wilmington in
the finals. But I was trying to remember who they beat in the semis. But anyway,
I believe,
at least you know when you get there that we're in the single elimination tournament. Kind of like the College World Series.
I think when you were talking about a while ago, like
you
sitting in the college in the World Series, you could be 4-1 and that's true. But once I feel like you don't like getting eliminated with a 2-1 or 3-1 record or 2-1 in the pool play. But once you get to that last two, you understand. Then it's single elimination. We understand that.
Yeah, when you get to the Final Four, the record don't matter. Everybody's in the same boat.
Right.
The record is basically for seeding.
Whereas when you're looking at the other one, well, we're 2-1. All three of us are 2-1, and we're going home. I think that's what got the, like Ned says, the Facebook anger. But
yeah, but
it is, and that's.
Yeah, Richard says the World Series went to pool play for TV reasons, and that's exactly right. A couple people told me that. Where was I that week? Bowie's Creek, hot. I stayed in Dunn, and boy, was I done.
Done.
It was toast, and I was done. World Series went to pool play for TV reasons when they started broadcasting because of definite times set for semifinals and finals. It was a TV reason, and it was. The TV wanted one game we know is going to be the championship.
They wanted a set time and finalize, win, lose. It's
the only way you could avoid.
Whereas if it's double elimination, you might have to play it.
The only way you could avoid that is have two double elimination 4 teams tournaments, kind of like these regionals do, and then have the winners meet for one game at the end. You'd still have the one game, but it's, what is it they say? 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I understand, and you know what? I'm sure that the Legion is getting a decent amount of money from ESPN to broadcast that game. That they can't do away with that, and it needs to be broadcast. It needs to be on television. So.
And then World Series, it's an extra day too, isn't it?
It is now where they spread it out.
They spread it out.
Yep, you get a day off.
Everybody gets a day off, and which is
so you can go to Tweetsy.
Extend your pitching a little bit.
So the guys from Honolulu can go to Tweetsy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or the zoo.
Yeah. Long way to the zoo. I guess a long way to Tweetsy too for some of them. But it's funny when everybody here wants to go to Hawaii, and everybody in the Hawaii, they want to stay here. When their teams come here, they like North Carolina and the mountains so much, they want to stay here. So kind of see where you stand. It's always better, always greener on the other side, right? Let's see. Very young team this year. This comes from Ned.
Yep.
Only 2 class of 22. Only 1 class of 25, and the other 15 are class of 23. Only 1 player aged out, and of course that was Noah Huss.
This team returns intact should all of them choose to play.
Yeah.
So,
can't imagine they won't.
And there's some more coming, too.
Yeah, they can add
so they're going to be.
They can add
some competition that's going to,
I'll tell you another comment I was told by Coach off the air about that, about what's coming up. So, but yeah, and anybody else that it's not something I'm trying to hide or something. Well, we'll just leave it at that. I'll tell you all.
Well, you take a team like this, everybody's coming back. You would expect them. You hope they improve.
True.
I mean, in areas that they need to get better,
Which is?
Oh, I think offense. I mean,
without a doubt.
That's the thing.
You got to hit the weights.
Exactly.
Need to get stronger. They got to hit better with runners in scoring position.
They found themselves a pretty good lineup by the end of the year.
They did.
You know, once he got it pieced together, and he inserted Landon Jenkins in there, who wound up being a cleanup hitter coming off of his freshman season of high school. So he's got something there that that actually looked pretty good. You know, I don't know how you can't do this unless somebody just comes up and works out. They could use a left-handed bat or two in that lineup. They really don't have but one. Isn't it just one left-handed bat in the starting?
That's Brockman, right?
Brockman. Well, they lost.
Which is odd. He throws right.
And the other left-handed bat they lost was Willie Havner. That was the other left
because he got hurt.
That didn't play.
Yep.
Because
but he can next year.
Yeah, but he can't. Yeah, he's a junior.
Yeah,
rising senior.
That's at Cherville High. That's
yes.
Right. So
most high school teams these days have more than one in the lineup, and Cherville wound up with just one left-handed bat.
And then he lost Brett Mason, who was another left-handed bat. So he really, before the season, he was counting on three left-handed bats.
A pitcher.
Yeah.
Oh, he could help them multiple ways.
Well, and then wasn't Duncan's left-handed too, wasn't he?
That's right.
Yeah.
So there was four left-handed bats. He was really it went from 4 to 1.
Yep. But you can't.
You can't count you.
It ain't like the majors. You can just trade for one. You need a left-handed bat stuck in your lineup. You can just trade for one. But wouldn't shock me if one day we get to that.
And you say well, they got everybody coming back. They really ought to be good. But you just
it was much better than Lou Holtz's teams that came back.
You got to wait and see what happens. I know, like what you said, all fair. There's players coming, but this stuff will work out. Mm-hmm. There'll probably be some. The guy told me years ago, kids figure it out.
Think about this too. This was a Cherville team that had 13 losses on the season, but still made it to a 2-1 record in the state tournament. Pretty much they came together as
they played one of the toughest schedules.
And now after you start looking how
South Carolina
how this thing's playing out, well, maybe they were a whole lot better than we thought. Or
seems to be
Legion baseball overall is just not as strong across, and I think there's a little bit of that.
There's some of both. Cherville's better than we thought, and Legion is not like it was 10 years ago.
But like
at least not for right now.
Like you said, Mike, they played well, you're looking at
they played Randolph, they played Rowan in the regular season.
Well, look at this. You got 2 South Carolina teams and 2 North Carolina teams in the Southeast Regional. Well, they played Randolph twice, counting the state tournament, and they counted Rock Hill twice.
They played Rock Hill twice.
So that's 4 games.
That's right.
They played
York. They played York.
Yeah, and they played York, and then like I say, Rowan a couple times.
Overall a good season. Overall, definitely a good season and something to build on for next year.
Exactly.
We'll take a timeout. We appreciate you tuning in to Sports Talk. Back with more here in just a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Fort Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Welcome back to Sports Talk. David Keever, Mike Powell, Lenny Anthony, and for the absent Brett Keever, who's out of town this week. Should be back today or tomorrow. Not sure which. He'll be back in town, but high school football's just around the corner. Don't want to forget that. Jamboree's coming up.
Weeks, right?
Yep.
Less than 2 weeks.
Yep, 13 days till season kicks off. Of course, you got some jamborees next Friday night. All 4 Lincoln County schools will be involved in the jamboree at Lincoln High School this coming Friday night. So I expect a good turnout for that.
Yeah.
I hadn't got anybody's anybody wants to send me, and I'll mention these. I don't have anybody's scrimmage schedules because scrimmages, I think, can start Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Don't you? Well, you have to have 10 days in before you can do the scrimmages, and I want to say they can probably – I'm guessing you can scrimmage Wednesday, and then if you got something on Friday night as well, a lot of teams do 2 scrimmages. Some do 1 scrimmage and a jamboree and different things like that. But, no, I've not seen any of the
no scrimmage schedules.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen any scrimmage schedules at this point. Of course, I haven't even really – everything's moved so fast for me since Legion Baseball just ending. Yep, that I'm kind of behind on the rest of the due. Ned says, thanks for all 3 of you for the extended Legion and Post 100 conversation. Yeah, well, it was a nice ride. Yeah. It was a nice ride. A lot of games in a short amount of time.
That's
there.
Right. We'll do it again.
Yeah.
When you know that
be here again before you know
that series between Cherryville and the Gaston Braves was an exciting series.
Yes,
unpredictable, close games, good series.
Lots of fan involvement.
Yeah. I want to build a dome for Legion Baseball. So
yeah.
Don't have to worry about the weather, no rain, and the AC. You know, just I wouldn't even care if you kept it at 80. if it was indoors, but
and you know, you got to hope that the American Legion World Series in Shelby doesn't get the weather problem either.
Right.
And they've had that before, right?
They've had it more often than they have.
And they're talking
just
about the rain chances go up towards the end of this week and right when it starts.
I was gonna ask, do you guys even look at the weather anymore? Because it turned out to me it's the same every day.
Yeah,
it's going to be 90 something. It's going to be humid, and there's a chance of rain. So, and it looks like that's going to repeat itself.
No, we had 26 days in July.
Is that all?
90 or above.
Yeah. Well, you expect it in July. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I guess you expect it in August too. But now we expect it in September. Because September's been hot. And 2 years ago, October was horrible. Last year wasn't quite as bad in October, but 2 years ago, October was horrible. And usually you like to get to football season. You know the first 4 Fridays are going to be pretty hot, 3 to 4 Fridays. But then it starts getting a little better. The humidity drops. But I don't know. I don't know about this year. We may go all the way into late October before we start getting a break. I hope not. But that's.
Well, I always gauge it by how long can I go into the season before I have to wear like long pants or something. You know, is
state championship.
Yeah.
Second week of December.
Mid-November. Yeah. Or even a jacket, right?
Yeah. No, I can't wait till I can wear a jacket.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I don't. You know, sometimes in my house I feel like I need a jacket, but that's okay. I know where the button is if it gets too bad, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
The Cubs yesterday defeated the Marlins by a score of 2-1. The Orioles over the Pirates last night 1-0. It was the Phillies over the Nationals 7-2. Braves over the Mets. Braves had a big first couple innings there. I think they had 4 in the first and either got 4 again right after that or something. They were up 8-0.
They was up 8-0, weren't they?
They were up 8-0 in that game, but the Mets, you know, didn't roll over. I mean, they fought back, stayed in the game for a while, but wound up losing 9-6. One thing we don't expect when you see the Braves and the Mets, or I didn't, 26 hits in that game.
Well, I heard this the other day, and it kind of, I know he's done a lot, but it's kind of surprised me. Who's hit more home runs in the last 4 years than anybody in baseball? In
the last 4 years, it must be a Brave.
It surprised me. I mean, he's hit a lot, but it's still surprised. Pete Alonso.
Oh, really?
135 since 2019.
I should have got that. He's one of my favorite players, and I don't know why. I mean, I just really like to watch him play baseball.
And I know they were just talking about, you know, about Ohtani and all the, you know, front runners for Player of the Year, and this guy said, you know, this guy's got 30 home runs and 90-some RBIs, and you're not even talking about him, you know, but that kind of surprised me.
I guess they're used to it.
Yeah.
The people are used to seeing it.
He was first in home runs, 135, and then he hit another one last night, so that's 130.
You'd think New York media, though, would be all over that and promoting their guy there.
And I believe he is second in RBIs for all of baseball in that span.
If you had to bet money on it today and could only choose one, are the Mets or the Yankees in the World Series? That's a good question because I see I'm getting a lot of thought. Now, Mike, I don't know where he's at. He's been hanging out there in Rogers for a while on some of those psychedelic drugs. So.
I go with the this. Maybe this is my anti-Yankee. I go with the Mets.
That's why I got a Yankees and a Mets.
But then I'm gonna go here. For some reason I don't see either one of them. Does that make sense?
So who would you pick today if you're just picking? Who are your World Series teams as of today? Because we are 108 roughly games in, 106, 108. So that means we got, 50-some
Well, I'm just picking the teams for the 2 best records, the Yankees and the Dodgers. I think it'd be a dream World Series.
It will be hard to keep the Dodgers out.
I'm saying the Dodgers and Houston.
It'll be hard to keep well.
That's what I'm.
Yeah, and I like Houston. I don't care what people think of Houston or anything like that. I mean, I just like that. I like what they're doing. I like the organization.
I know Atlanta's on the prowl there, and they've been. I believe they said they had the best record in the last since June, but it's hard to repeat.
Who was the last baseball team to repeat?
That's what I say. It's hard to repeat. That's why I don't put them in that.
I know in football, I think I heard yesterday it's 2003. and that's a lot. That's a long time.
It's
that's
probably
20
the
years
Yankees,
in
isn't
the Patriots.
it? And that would
Probably.
be back late
Had to be in the
90s.
Had to be in the 90s.
When has anybody repeated in anything? I mean, it's tough. That's tough.
It is tough. That's a good question. I really don't know. Our last major sports team that won back-to-back.
Yeah.
I don't keep up with hockey as closely, so I really don't know there. But
we're
NBA,
going
probably the Warriors on the.
the Warriors did it.
Yeah.
Yep, they did.
That's
They did.
I'll start to say, is it easier to do in basketball?
Well, no. It's hard to gauge difficulty.
It probably is easier to do, though, because you only have 15 guys you got to keep together and not 40 or so in baseball and, 60 or so in football.
So many moving parts in baseball, too. I mean, it's.
And if you watch some of these games, plus I think the series are easier, too, whether it's baseball, football, or hockey. Baseball, basketball, or hockey in the professional level, because that one game in football, anything can happen. I mean, you can lose on a fluke play. We've seen teams get knocked. Remember how the Saints got knocked out of the playoffs a few years ago on the catch from the guys with Buffalo now. I can't even think of his name. The freak play. And they scored it. And I think it happened to the Saints like Stephon Diggs. I think it happened to them maybe 2 years in a row. But to the Saints.
And then, of course, the controversial call.
Brett said Warriors. So he is awake this morning.
Yeah, at least.
Brett said
Gatlinburg.
The Warriors were the last team to do it. That's obviously not one of his favorites, being a Laker.
That's why it's embedded in his mind.
That's right. Won't forget it. But
so the last time in football was the.
Brett said the Yankees won 98, 99, and 2000.
I was going to say.
And I'm going to throw this out there. They've only won one since.
2009?
I can't remember. But I think they've only won one since the turn of the.
I think 2009. I might be.
Yeah. I can't remember the exact year, but honestly, I'm surprised by that they've only won one.
What'd you say, 90? What'd you say, 98?
He said 88. Or 98, 99, 2000. I didn't realize.
And 2001, they were in the championship, and that's Arizona. That was 9-11.
Is that when Arizona beat them? Yeah.
And that was considered an upset by Arizona. That was.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Well, what was Arizona even doing there?
You're right.
So that's probably the way you look at that.
Well, they had those two stud pitchers, and that's.
What two stud pitchers? Help me.
Schilling and Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson then, didn't they? Yeah. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's for sure. Does Arizona baseball even exist now? I know they have Madison, but
they have Mad Bum.
And
still there.
That's the only. Like him or hate him, whatever it may be, that's the only reason we have really to keep up with what's going on with Arizona baseball.
They got one good young arm, Zach Gallen.
They had a really good hitter in Goldschmidt, didn't they? Didn't he come up through there before he moved on to St. Louis? Yeah, don't understand.
How does that market in Arizona rank? I mean, I know it's not one of the top TV markets, obviously.
I don't know.
I don't even know if they got TV out there yet. Brett says the Patriots were 04 and 05.
Okay.
So that's the last NFL team to do it.
Right.
Okay, so, we'll get in this in a minute, but think about this in your head, and I'll give you some time to think. Will the Rams repeat as Super Bowl champions? Their team might have got better, but will they repeat? That's still big.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
We mentioned the Braves beat the Mets 9-6. The Astros beat the Guardians 9-3. The Astros 70 wins now on the season. Tampa over Detroit 5-3. The White Sox 2-1 over the Rangers. Red Sox 7-4 over Kansas City. The Brewers 5-1 over the Little Red Machine. Sorry, guys, I didn't.
Little Red Machine.
That's about all I can say right now. 42-63. Sorry, Steve and Denny. The Twins over the Blue Jays 6-5. The Cards over the Yankees last night 4-3. And you know what? I always think this about the St. Louis Cardinals. Don't ever count them out.
Nope.
Because if they get in the playoffs, they're always dangerous. Yeah. If they get to the playoffs, they're always dangerous. Doesn't matter who's coaching. Doesn't matter who the personnel is. It's just the history of the Cardinals.
And they've shored up their pitching this week with Quintana and Jordan Montgomery, from the Yankees. Isn't that his name? The left-hander
from Sumter.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, which that didn't make any sense.
I didn't know they added him.
Didn't make any sense to me why the Yankees.
I thought he was pitching well for the Yankees.
Yeah, well, that's what.
Yeah, he's Sumter guy. Pitched in Shelby.
And then, you know, if Flaherty'd get back, able to go, then they could really be a strong pitching wise. And you know what you're going to get with their hitting.
But you don't know us anything either for talking about those Cardinals. The D-backs over the Rockies 6-5, Angels 4-3 over the Mariners, the Dodgers 8-1 over the Padres. Is this a statement series coming here from the Dodgers? 8-1 last night over the Pods. Is that the first game of a 3-game set or the second game of a 4-game?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't think they played each other on Thursday.
They did not. They did not. No, okay. they were playing. San Diego was playing Colorado up till then.
Yep. Let's see. I know Dodger news this week. Kershaw ailing back, but that seems like that's a yearly thing. A yearly thing that happens.
Yeah, and he was just warming up, and he knew it. I mean, he just called out the staff immediately, and which is probably smart with as big a lead as they have. You know, if you're going to use him, you want him in the late season, not now. You know.
How many homers last night in that Dodgers 8 runs over the Padres last night? 8-1.
Taylor hit one, I think.
I don't see a single home run.
Maybe not.
I don't see a single home run. That's why I threw that out there. A lot of doubles.
Taylor had several doubles
in the game. Yeah.
Bellinger had a double. I seen a little bit of highlights.
Yeah, you're right. And Manea, another one that might be on the other team. Let's see. They, like I said, these teams change up so much. You can't keep up. No, it has to be. That's on the Dodgers
that's
side.
That's probably Alberto. I didn't know what his last name. I bet that's.
Well, Betts had 2 hits. Turner had 2 hits. Smith had 3 hits last night for the Dodgers. 3 for 4, an RBI, 2 runs scored. They're just cruising right along, and you know what? The Dodgers. I mean, let's face it, they're good, and they're probably the best team in baseball right now. And they're just getting your attention by winning games and not making big trades here.
Right.
It seems like at the, if you're coming along and you got 70 wins, you really don't want to mess up the chemistry, right?
Well, see, you're rolling along there, and then again, you don't. You've had Kershaw, but you don't have him for the time being, and Buehler's not been on that either. You know, so there's a lot of room for them to get even better pitching wise. You know, down the.
Gonsolin got the win last night. Know his record now?
13-1.
13-1. Manea is actually the pitcher. He's one of the doubles, but he it says here he got the loss. The Dodgers had all 8 of their runs by the 3rd inning. 4 in the first, 4 in the 3rd. Had a big 8-0 lead, and the Padres finally got on the board in the 9th. 4 hits. The Padres had last night against Gonsolin. So. Yep, a dominating team. And Brett, you don't owe me anything either for those words. I'll tell you who's not dominating, and that's this team that has the that I'm wearing the shirt of. Boston. They have won 2 in a row though over those powerhouse Kansas City Royals.
That's 2. I thought Kansas City beat them Thursday. You sure?
I think maybe you're right.
I think it split.
Didn't they play? I don't even know now. Yeah, you're probably.
I think
right.
it split.
You're right. Yeah. See, I can't even get to 2 in a row.
But they won 2 out of 3 against Houston, if you can believe that.
That doesn't make sense, does it? Won the first 2.
Yeah.
You know that one. Yeah, that one did surprise me. I was very shocked that they went to Houston.
Yeah.
And won the first 2 games.
I just don't know. I don't hardly even want to talk about. I don't think
I have no expectations.
In this trade,
so it's not too bad.
You know, first they was in, and then they said no, we're still in. But you turn around and trade away your starting catcher, and you go pick up have to trade to get another catcher. I don't sound like you're in.
You're right, Lenny. They are on a big winning streak, 1 straight.
Yeah,
won 1 in a row here. So, yeah, the Yankees lead the American League with a 70-37 record, but the Astros are just 1 loss more, 70-38. Yankees are up on Toronto by 10.5, Tampa by 12.5, the Orioles by 14.5, and the Sox by 16.5. Minnesota quietly leads the Central, 56-50. I bet the Red Sox wish they were in there, Lenny. They'd be 3 games back, 3 games out. Cleveland is 2 games out. The White Sox 2 games out. Kansas City 14.5, and the Tigers are 15.5 back. They might need to let Miggy go and use all that money he's making to pay 5 or 6 more players in Detroit. The Astros 70-38 lead Seattle by 12.5. Texas by 22. Angels by 24. A's by 66. That's unbelievable. Not by 66. That's the amount of their losses. By 28.5. Might as well be 66. The Mets lead the East over the Braves by 3.5. The Mets have 67 wins. Braves 64. Phillies are 9 back. Marlins 19. Nationals 32 games, and have traded their franchise away. Cardinals 58-48. Virtual tie with Milwaukee for first place. Pirates 15 out. Cubs 15.5, Reds 15.5. The Reds could climb out of the cellar here and get ahead of the Cubs. I think they already did at one time, but they now got to earn their way back up there. And then there's the Dodgers, 73-33. Padres, a very good record at 61-48, but they're not winning the division.
No,
they're 13.5 out.
The race is over.
Which means they're going to be in that. Well, they might not be in the one-game thing. They're doing it different this year.
It's different this year, which I kind of like. It's
3 wild cards.
It's 3. You play 3 games, but
maybe
you play at the home. Yeah, but you play at the all the games are at one
higher
site.
Seed. Yeah, that's good. Speeds it up.
Which I like that
less
better,
travel.
than that one game.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, because you could have a pitcher that's on fire and he could get you in the next round. And you
they were talking about before
4-0.
Soto. I mean, this is right when he had got traded. They were saying that if it was held today, I believe they would play Atlanta, and said they'd have to. He'd never play a game. He'd never play a game at home unless they won that series, because they'd have to go to Atlanta and play. That was. I thought, yeah, but you're in it.
That's right.
That's
right, and you're in it for more than one game.
That's right.
Dodgers lead the Padres by 13.5, Giants by 22, Arizona 25.5, Colorado 27.5. That's a pretty big gap there between the Dodgers and the rest of the field. But San Diego, at least in my thoughts, they're a definite playoff team, as are the Atlanta Braves at this point. I think those 2 are in. Then the others kind of be wide open. I don't know if it'll be St. Louis, Milwaukee, the one that don't win the division. Mm-hmm. It could still be the Phillies.
Yeah, they're playing well.
Yeah, they're right there in it as well.
And they
games above 5.
And they helped themselves over the.
They've won 8 out of the last 10.
And they helped themselves. It looked like on the trade deadline they brought in some relief help pitching, Syndergaard.
And is what's his name back before the season's over?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I read Harper. He was already working out.
Rehab.
So I think it's pretty soon, maybe.
Good.
Much quicker than. So they.
We can't have a big enough miracle for the Yankees to get knocked out of the playoffs, or the Astros for that matter. 70 wins already for both of those, and I think the American League. You look at the rest of the teams, and none of them are on that level. I think the National League has more parity, but the American League is going to be between the Yankees and the Astros, or I would be shocked when it comes down to it. Toronto has a chance to get in. Tampa, Baltimore, even the Red Sox have a chance to get in. Minnesota and Cleveland and the White Sox all fighting it out for the division. And all those teams I'm naming have similar records, all in the 50s, 54-59 in wins. And then Seattle, a very good team as well. I think they'll wind up being in. Because for one thing, I heard the other day the Red Sox still have 45 games or something. I don't know if that means it was a huge number still left against their
in their own division.
Yeah, and they have not fared well against their division this year at all. But you know what? If you're Seattle, you want that because you'll be playing Texas, the Angels, and the A's a lot of games. Even though you got to play Houston some, you still want to play your division because that's where they can rack up some wins, I would think. I was looking on here just to see if it showed me you can make it show division records, but I was just wondering how well they had done against their
and just talking about Seattle, and they've played a lot of games already against Houston, which might be a good thing.
Seattle against their own division is 14. Excuse me, the West 28-23. So they are over 500. Boston against their own division, Lenny, is listen to this. Against the West, they're 21-8. Against the Central, they're 15-10. Against the East, they've played 41. You want to guess their record? Against the East in 41 contests against their own division.
They played 41 total.
41 total.
Won 12.
Bingo. That man's on it this morning. 12-29. 12-29 are the Red Sox against their own division. The only other teams that you can compare to that, and there are worse, of course, they haven't played as many games. Kansas City, Detroit, they've only won 9-8 against their division. The Rangers have 5-14. Oh, let me take that back. The Rangers are 28-44. I was still reading the East.
Right. Rangers
28-44. The Twins, the Tigers and the Royals 30-49, 28-49. So still not good. Boston's is the worst.
Yeah.
Boston's is the worst with 12 wins against their division. Then you look at the Dodgers, 49-21
in division
against their division. That's impressive. So
that's the record in their division.
Let me take that back. 33-12.
Okay.
So many things on here to look at versus right-handed pitchers versus left-handed pitchers. So.
I was going to say they're pretty much done with their division then, but that makes.
You might as well throw on there versus a guy that throws 4 curveballs out of every 5 pitches. You know, I mean these things are really broken down this day and time. But you know, that gives people jobs, right? It gives people jobs that I guess need something to do. We're going to take our final time out of the morning. We appreciate you tuning in to Sports Talk. Appreciate Lenny sitting in with us this morning as well. Back with more here in a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Fort Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back to Sports Talk. David, Mike, Lanny here with you, and Mike brought up a good point there as we come back. And no, we weren't going off the air this morning without talking about the losses of a couple legends this week in their own sports, and two totally different sides of the spectrum too. You know, a broadcaster
and a athlete,
and a terrific athlete. You know, if all you ever do is say that so many people want to weigh in championships when it's their guy, that they're wanting to be the greatest of all time. But if you do that, Bill Russell's the greatest NBA player of all time, is he not?
11 championships.
Yeah. What, 13 seasons?
They won 8 in a row, and he won 11, right?
11.
That's what I was thinking.
11 and 13. Was it 13 years?
Yeah. And don't forget the 2 he won as a collegian at the University of San Francisco.
Right.
Back-to-back national championships.
And that'll never be matched, will it?
No.
Thanks.
I mean, you know, first of all, the 11 will never be matched, and then if a guy's that good, he's not staying in college 2 years.
And you said the 11 won't be matched, but even more, most so the 8 in a row won't happen.
No, I don't know. I don't see how. You know, and yes, it was a different time period, and you could lock up your team, and they weren't going anywhere. There was a such thing as loyalty,
right?
And I'm playing. You know, why would I leave the Celtics, even if they want to pay me more money? You know, I mean, I'm just thinking in their head in that day and time. You know, it's not enough money to make it matter. And I'm not even sure you could outbid. You know, I mean, maybe the people didn't even. There was no such thing as free agency. I don't think, was there, in the Bill Russell days? I mean, that didn't come along till
it's
Kurt Flood and the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, the Kurt Flood and Andy Messersmith. That's when, and it happened in baseball first.
Right.
You know, that's.
You know, but I mean, for him to be there, did he ever play for anybody else in the NBA?
No.
Okay.
And don't forget, he was also the first black NBA coach.
Yep, and that don't get mentioned as much as it should.
Yeah, and he was a civil rights activist. He was very involved during the 60s and, you know, Martin Luther King's crusade for civil rights. And just a really – it was more than just basketball.
Right.
He had a lot of other stuff going on. Great American, really, Bill Russell.
You ever see him in a picture or on TV or when he wasn't smiling?
Yeah, and he had this laugh.
That laugh. Yeah, the laugh was.
Just always seemed like he's in a good mood. And
I heard an NPR interview he had given about 20 years ago as I was driving around yesterday, and he talked about how he defended Wilt Chamberlain. And he went into all these things about, Wilt was 4 or 5 inches taller, but when Wilt was shooting, you know, you're never going to jump as high as you can when you're shooting, right?
Right.
But the defensive player can jump as high as he can. So he goes into all these metrics about how he timed it, knowing that he could at least all he wanted to do with Wilt was make him less efficient.
Mm-hmm.
He knew he wasn't going to stop him from scoring.
Yeah.
But if
not going to block all the shots.
Yeah,
you
if
just
you can make him less efficient,
Right.
then he thought that was a good night for him. But it was a fascinating interview about how he matched up and played his, the other great big man in the game at that time, Wilt Chamberlain.
What was the final year that Russell played?
68. I heard it.
I don't remember.
I do not remember him. 68 or 69.
Yeah.
I believe it might have been 69, but I do not remember him playing at all.
Was that one of his championship years? Was his final year a championship year, or do we know?
That I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't know either.
I don't know.
Maybe somebody can tell us that. You don't have to look it up because we're going to just jump right on over.
I want to think he didn't play into the 70s at all, did he?
No, I
don't think he did.
No. I think I've seen that somewhere this week. It's like 68 or 69.
And you guys can tell me the teammates: Bob Cousy, Havlicek.
Who else?
Is that
Casey Sanders?
Okay.
K.C. Jones probably was on that team. On that team too.
Yeah, one's KC and one's KC, right?
K.C. Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
And I seen Cousy's 95.
Wow.
I didn't realize he was still alive. I thought for some reason, but he's 95.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now you look back at the old tape. He was a wizard with the basketball. Terrific passer.
Skilled. That's to say the least. That something I don't know for some reason
just
don't.
Throw
see
one
it as
other
much.
thing out. I heard this. He was from. Must have been the San Francisco area.
Mm-hmm.
Him, Frank Robinson, Vada Pinson, all were on the same high school team.
Wow.
Oh, I did not
Of course,
know that.
Russell didn't play baseball, but
yeah.
Robinson and Pinson must have played basketball
too.
And I named the high school, and there was one other, and I cannot remember who.
And you said it was West Coast.
Yeah, it was in the either San Francisco or Oakland area that they. I won't say Oakland, but I might be making that up.
When you talk about dynasties in college basketball, nobody really thinks about San Francisco.
Right.
They won back-to-back.
Right.
Why would they be the only school to offer him a scholarship? I think I heard that. Why would
San Francisco Dons?
Yeah. Why would that be the case?
Do we assume because he was black?
Well,
I don't know.
That was the 50s.
It wasn't the South,
It
but why was it on the West Coast?
That's right.
I don't know.
Great question.
San Francisco is a huge market, so the name was out there.
Right.
People knew about him. I just wondered.
And that was long before, Texas Western with an all-black starting lineup defeated Kentucky for the 66 title.
So
Jason says 1969 was Russell's last year. Yes, he won the title that year as a player-coach. The Celtics beat the Lakers in 7 games, and Jason and Brett are still better. Jerry West was the finals MVP, even on the losing team. So, there again,
Well, they had some battles, didn't they? The Lakers and the Celtics in the 60s, too.
The history of that rivalry probably goes back
70s.
as far and as heated and as even as any rivalry there is in all sports.
And then, of course, in the 70s, it got revived with Magic and Larry Bird, right?
Yes,
into
it
the
did.
80s.
Yes, and carried on. Not quite what it was today, but if they played each other in the finals, it would be right back. It would be right back. Let's move on to Vin Scully. Another legend loss, a different, he gave us a different perspective in sports than Bill Russell. He was a broadcaster, but pretty much loved by all. Never heard anybody say anything negative about Vin Scully.
No.
Memories for me are like, you can hear him doing the catch. You can hear him doing the Kirk Gibson home run.
The Bill Buckner boot.
But that's what I was going to say. The Hank Aaron one is still the biggest.
And he brought into the fact that for a black man is being
standing
ovation in the Deep South.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
After eclipsing an iconic record by white.
And anybody that didn't live in that time, really, Mike, don't realize what a big step that was.
Certainly.
So, he's just the storyteller. I mean, that's the way I think about him. You know, he did a lot of games, did all the radio games without a color.
And
analyst, but would tell different stories. And you know how it is in baseball. You can get in a couple paragraphs between pitches.
Yeah. Right.
And you kind of got a feel for that when you did the
you have to find you something to talk about.
I mean,
just set in on it.
It's just you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. But you know what? He worked by himself so many years. He probably couldn't have worked.
Right.
He wouldn't know how to work somebody in.
That's a good point.
You know, I mean, I don't know if he actually started out that way or what, but
he started out with Red Barber. That was his trainer for Brooklyn
and
Dodgers.
Red Barber was one of the greats.
Yeah, and then he took over pretty shortly after for Brooklyn, 58 or 8, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And, but he started with Red Barber. That's
right.
I found out one thing about broadcasting by yourself is you got to pick and choose your times when you got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. There was one time when you had to make a quick exit.
Yeah, I would always do it between innings. Or here's what you look for. And Vin, I guarantee you, Vin Scully had a bathroom within 10 feet of him.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? He'd go on a commercial break, any commercial break. So what I did was either the catcher had to be a base runner or the last batter because he's got to put on all his equipment. So that's the inning you pick to go. You know what I'm saying? Or pitching changes because, believe it or not, pitching changes take longer than the switch of an inning. You know, if you know they're calling a pitcher in, take off. And there was no restroom in the Campbell University press box, so you had to go down the bleachers, out the park, almost into the facilities, and then run back and make it up and in. I think I missed one pitch. Wasn't too bad, right?
That's not bad.
Missed one pitch.
Well, you did a good job. I sent you a text one night about you painted a great pitch. You did. I mean, it was.
And even more importantly, I did not use the bathroom in my pants. I made it. Didn't wet my pants, Mike. Didn't need those Depends you were talking about earlier.
Oh, yeah. The fact you can't have a lag. I mean, you've got to be constant and.
Well, it was entertaining. It was a good 3 games. It was good baseball. So always something to talk about. Always something to talk about there.
What were the facilities like at
beautiful
Campbell?
Beautiful. Yeah, a lot of money into that campus. On all sports, not just baseball. Baseball field, obviously turf, full turf, infield, outfield. Football stadium sits right on the highway, huge, home side, looks beautiful, and they're proud of their camels. They got the orange everywhere and the camels, a bronze camel on one part of the campus, and the campus sits on both sides of the road. You know, it's a private university, so
it is.
It's very nice, very nice. Good place to have it. Don't get me wrong, it's a long way. It was 95 degrees plus every day, so I'm sure it was 100 plus on that turf.
Yeah,
hot, sure. But weather only really played a factor in the day one of the.
Well, let me ask you. It depends on where the site of the state tournament is. Some of them attendance is kind of lacking. What was it like here?
It was smaller than usual. Yeah, smaller crowds than usual.
That's what I thought.
Yep, Cherryville didn't even take the crowds that they normally do. Rowan, I was really surprised, doesn't have the crowd that they usually had. And those two probably still had the bigger crowds of anybody in it, you know. But they weren't. It wasn't. And we started talking a little bit about this. Gas is higher than it was. Hotel rooms are higher than they were. It's throw in 97 degrees.
97 degrees.
Everything there is, and your crowds are going to be a little smaller than you're used to. But
and how far was it from? How far south of Raleigh is?
Cherryville was the furthest team away in the entire tournament, and out of Sanford, it's probably about 40 miles. You know where Sanford is, so about 40 miles, but. It's Highway 421 all the way, just about, so not much to it. Go through Lillington, then Bowie's Creek, and then I stayed in Dunn, which is another maybe 8 miles or so away from the ballpark.
Did you have accommodations?
Oh, yeah.
In Dunn?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, they took care of me. And believe it or not, with those kind of temperatures, I spent a lot of time in that room.
Sure.
There wasn't a lot of places I wanted to be. Let's see.
So you didn't hang around the ballpark all day and watch 4 games?
No, I did go back and watch the game that really mattered to Cherryville, and I was actually with the coaches whenever I watched it, and the players were out there too, and got off to a good start because you knew that if Hope Mills could score. How many runs was it they had to have in that game? 8 to tie, and 9 would have put Fuquay out. Yeah. And they got 3 in the first inning. Yeah, it looked like, hey, this might happen.
You sent me a text, and it was 4-0 middle of the first, and you sent right back
4-3.
4-3.
Yeah. No, I don't think they scored maybe one more run the rest of the night.
When I seen 4-0, I thought, oh, it looks like, and then fourth, I thought, okay.
Steve K says Lincoln scrimmages at St. Stephen's. I'm pretty sure that one is probably Wednesday if I had to guess. Butch Parker says Maiden will host Hickory on Wednesday at Maiden High, and then go to Mooresville on Friday to take on West Forsyth. So going to take on the big 4A school, which is good for Maiden. They've got talent this year to go up against somebody like West Forsyth. It's not going to hurt them, I'll put it that way, to play somebody like that.
So Maiden's not going to be in a jamboree. This is going to do two scrimmages.
Mathematician over.
Yeah. I amaze myself every time.
I'm stay away from that math.
He got the 2 scrimmages right, which I was glad. Any final thoughts, though? I want to go back to a minute. Oh, here's another one. Ned says, parents only almost at the tournament. Hotel rooms were limited. Did you see that our Highway 27 ran right through? Yeah, I did. North Carolina Highway 27. If you want to take it, you could have taken Highway 27.
You mean hour 27?
Yeah. Well, that's North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah. I did, but that's not the way you'd want to go. I'd still be on my way back 8 days later had I come back on Highway 27.
421.
You can, 421. But, 421, it's weird because there's new interstates now in the eastern part of the state, if you didn't know, 73 and 74. Yeah. So you get on those, but 421 is part of those. You know how they got the same roads and stuff like that. But you're really on 85 or 40 out of from here, take 40, and then once you get over toward the Winston area and Greensboro, you get on 421, and you just go, and it takes you and takes you and takes you and takes. It's a pretty good moving road, though. Pretty good moving road. Not many lights. Pretty much a freeway down through there. I did want to mention real quick. Brett would get on me if I didn't give him his weekly jab at Mike Powell.
What is this one?
We were talking a while ago about the Dodgers and the Pods. Was this the first game of the series or the second? Did they play on Thursday? He said,
I know where he's coming.
He said it was
Giants.
he said it was the first of 3-game series. Had to sweep the Giants 4 straight first,
and they won 7 in a row over the Giants. I know.
Just swept them 4 straight, and hadn't done that in a long time. I think he had told me
7 straight this season over my Giants. Dang.
So, what do you think?
They're 51 and 55. So,
well, they're in Red Sox territory.
Okay, who did they lose personnel-wise, Mike, that would lead to the difference? Last year they were neck and neck with the Dodgers till the final day.
Well, they won more games than the Dodgers, did not? Didn't they win 107
Yeah, they
games?
did.
Yeah. And the Dodgers had to play the play-in game. You're right.
I can't put my finger on it, actually.
Sometimes just everything goes right, and everything went right.
Coaching staff still in place and all that kind of stuff.
They've had a few injuries this year, but you wouldn't have thought it would have been that kind of. And they've really been pretty good till late. It's
tanked. It's sort of been above 500,
just like
5-6 games above 500.
Just like Belt. Is it Belt? He's been hurt off and on about all year. So they've had some injuries, but it's.
Don't stop, leave me hanging there.
It's just that
I'm
the
doing some
Dodgers
research here.
have been so good.
Yeah. Certainly. Yeah, they brought up something the other day about when Soto went to San Diego, what top 3 would you take? Would you take Soto, like Tatis, Soto, and Machado, or Betts, Turner, Freeman? That was the comparison. I thought, and they were saying, who would you take? And I don't know.
That's 2 pretty good.
Yeah,
that's 2 pretty good outfields there. You know what? I'm not going to kick either one to the curb. I'm going to go through a few of these. We were talking a little bit earlier, and we've only got about 10 minutes left this morning before we hit before we crash some restaurant to tear up some breakfast. Where are we going, Lanny?
Yeah, Lanny, where are we going?
Oh, we'll probably just need to go to Brookwood because Mr. Steve K is on his way. Butch Parker might be joining us as well, so we probably should just go close here today and just and head up to Brookwood after the show. All about us. I don't know about that.
I want to mention we talked about Scully and Bill Russell. This was about a week and a half ago. Paul Sorvino.
Oh yeah.
The death passing of him.
Are you kidding? Yeah, a great character actor. And when he played Paul Cicero in Goodfellas. To me, that was his best role ever. Yep. Law and Order. He was in Law and Order too.
Yeah,
my boss Paul Cicero in Goodfellas, I think, was his best role.
I'll be honest, he was one of those guys. If you said his name, I'd have to think. But as soon as I saw his picture, I said, "Well, I just didn't remember his name." I mean, you're right.
He was a character actor in so many films.
Right.
It's just.
I also want to mention this too, and the name slips me right now, but a young man, I think, from Scotland County High School. I don't know if you guys saw this story or not. Baseball player that was headed to East Carolina to play was in a boating accident a couple days ago, and the propeller on the boat hit his left or right leg, not sure which, but he had to have his leg amputated from the knee down, and there's been a lot of stuff on thoughts and prayers going out to him, and I think his last name is Bird. If Denny Hoover's listening, he probably knows and can tell me the answer to that, or somebody else, and I can't remember the first name, but it's been all over social media and stuff like that, but man, that's just sad.
It is.
That's just sad. Somebody getting ready just to basically start their baseball career as far as college goes. And
have you guys paid any attention to all the big media days, Big 10 media days, Big 12? They've been running them off. SEC media day.
Didn't know they were going on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how much attention I paid to it.
I hadn't watched it, but they've been on their networks, hadn't they?
Mm-hmm. No big revelations have come out. I mean, and they never do with these.
Right.
It's just PR.
Well,
primarily.
Here's getting in the high school ranks. I know they're in our area. What's the deal? West Charlotte.
Yeah, West Charlotte. With
Sam Griner being suspended and
no discussion of that personnel matter. They don't have to discuss.
All I've read is
still in better shape than Brittany Griner.
Was possible recruiting. And player mistreatment
and treatment of players.
Yeah, but from what we're hearing about the players, that hadn't.
No, they say that's
the parents seem to be fine, So I don't know what
Well, now didn't they have to forfeit their 21 seasons?
They did, and
because of illegal participation.
Yeah,
and there was one player that left West Charlotte, went to play for Vance, maybe.
Yes,
and now he's back.
That's the
at West
but
Charlotte.
He's not eligible right now. That was the 4A Player of the Year 2 years ago in the spring. He's a running back that's going to Oklahoma, I think.
Okay.
But he left Chambers, transferred back, but then about a month and a half later, he was declared ineligible. So I don't know, but he's fighting to gain it back. Now I hadn't heard anything, but he'll surface at a independent school somewhere probably if he doesn't. But,
well, now Mecklenburg County's been hit with this. I mean, Myers Park. And
I think that's some of those California kids that came from COVID. And
probably.
But it seemed like the guy at West Charlotte, he was at Hickory Ridge before he came, and a kid had transferred from there and he was the eligibility problem, but the coach now at Hickory Ridge was supportive of Griner, saying that no, he didn't recruit him. Said that the kid was supposed to go to Hickory Ridge, but his mama worked in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system, and that allowed him to transfer. So he said he didn't recruit him, and went on to say this boy's brother was still playing at Hickory Ridge. So I don't know.
And here we are, just right into the beginning of practice. I wonder how that's going to go.
That's a good question. How is that?
If he's not going to get to coach, then maybe he needs to go back on he was one of the participants on that what's the TV show, reality, The Great Race.
Mm-hmm.
He and his wife, but and then it got delayed because of COVID, and then when they come back, they had to drop out because I think the wife had was pregnant, so maybe they'll go back.
Could be.
We only got a couple minutes left. We asked this question earlier. Lanny said he wanted to guess which team. Now this is what I'm looking at here is per Bleacher Report predictions for every NFL team. Who has the lowest amount of wins projected by Bleacher Report in the NFL this season? So far, the lowest number I've seen, and I'm still scrolling, is 4.5 wins, and that is the lowest I've seen. I have seen a couple fives.
You're saying which teams?
Is projected. Which team has the lowest projected wins in the NFL this year?
I'm going to go with.
And then I'll ask you which one has the highest as well.
I'm going with Atlanta for the lowest.
They had 5.
I'm going to go with Texas.
Lanny?
Texas.
Yep, Texans. 4.5.
Okay. I think Seattle's close
for the Texans. I'm seeing some 9s. I'm seeing some 10s. I did see 110.5 on wins. So, who do you think is projected to have the most wins this year? At 10.5. Even the Jets are 5.5. They're a full game above the Texans. Which
Nobody's
one?
projected more than 10.5.
I did not see anybody projected more than 10.5. I'm seeing quite a few 10s. Lanny, the Seahawks were 5.5, like a couple other teams I'd seen. Theirs is all about quarterback. I think they're okay everywhere, but they just do not have. What's the kid's name that was in the deal? Who is their quarterback?
Russell Wilson. You talking about?
Yeah, but somebody went there that who was Drew Lock? Is that who wound up in Seattle? Drew Lock.
Yeah.
Yes. I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it was too. Here is let's see.
10.5 Tampa Bay.
No.
I'm gonna say
Minnesota.
Minnesota with the most. No.
Well,
I don't have them in the favorite. I'm going to
champ?
say the Rams.
The Rams, yeah, the defending champ.
Bingo. 10.5 for the Rams. They won the Super Bowl. They're not saying they'll be in the Super Bowl. They're saying that they have the best chance to win the most games at 10. Now, this is just Bleacher Report. I'm sure other outlets have some different things, but the Rams supposedly, made themselves even better on paper with some of the guys they added. Plus, they got the running back. What's his name that didn't get to play if I was an injury last year? You'd know his name if you heard it. I know, but yeah, that's quite impressive that they have a chance to win. I think that division is going to be good, with the exception of Seattle, because San Francisco will be pretty good. Arizona will be pretty good. Of course, the AFC West is going to be loaded. I mean, you could be a playoff team and finish 4th in that division.
Who has the biggest wild card? Like, if something comes through, then they'll be good, but that's questionable.
The Browns.
Yeah.
Waiting on Deshaun.
But also, how good is the heir apparent in San Francisco?
Will we ever find out? We are going to find out. He's the starter.
Trey
Lance. He's the starter.
I don't know. Can he play?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if Mike Shanahan don't know which one should start, nobody would, right?
Kyle Shanahan.
That's
right.
Well, Mike too, because Kyle told him.
Mike probably knows too.
He knows. Yeah, I'm sure he knows.
I'm still sticking with that. If Kyle don't know, who does know? They look like a pretty good team as well. On paper, Dallas should be really good. I just don't know if it's their year to get over the hump and get in. A lot of people were saying Super Bowl, and then there's the same amount of people were saying miss the playoffs.
Yeah,
so they're
Dallas always
hard to predict.
Conflicting views. I mean, you just don't know.
Thanks for tuning in to Sports Talk. For Lenny, Mike, I'm David. See you next week.